As a kid coming into my sexuality, I was in the dark, stumbling around on my own, trying to figure things out. For many of us, talks about the birds and the bees either came too late or not at all. My goal is to not only alleviate some of the stress that parents and guardians may have about this type of communication, as well as giving us all the importance of these conversations. I'm a mother that, like I said, never got these talks. So I'm studying to make sure I'm well equipped to give them when that time comes. First, I'd like to discuss why these conversations are so important. Then, we'll look at some studies about how the lack of sexual education is affecting our youth. And then, I would like to give you all some possible ways to start and have these talks. As I stated before, many of us never really got to sit down and get the odds and ends conversations about sex. So, why these talks need to happen, and can they make relationships between parent and child better? And sure, yes. Any open line of communication can be positive for parents and kids. These conversations in particular are awesome for teens, especially to feel more comfortable and open, which can ultimately ensure their safety not only sexually but otherwise. But do they really make a difference? According to a fact sheet released by the CDC titled Talking with Your Teens About Sex, Going Beyond the Talk, in a national survey conducted by the National Campaign to Prevent Teen and Unplanned Pregnancy, teens report that their parents have the greatest influence over their decisions about sex. This same source also tells us that studies have shown that teens who report talking with their parents about sex are more likely to delay having sex and to use condoms when they do have sex. So far, these talks are definitely seeming like they're important for both parent and child. So let's look at how a lack of communication can hurt our youth or help. The effects of sexual education on our youth. And is it helping? A study in pediatrics found that parents who talk to their male children about sex are more likely to have boys who go to the doctor. It's all about setting a good example. This quote is published in a very well health article stating top 10 reasons to support sexual education in schools, which I encourage you all to take a look at honestly. As we all know, getting physicals and regular checkups are important. In the open line of communication between parents and child, it can help ensure that health visits are happening. How's it helping? The U.S. National Library of Medicine, National Institute of Health, did a study which they published in a fact sheet titled Absence Only Education and Teen Pregnancy Rates, Why We Need Comprehensive Sex Ed in the U.S. The results of this study shows that abstinence-only education is positively correlated with both teen pregnancy and teen birth rates. So again, to directly quote the National Institute of Medicine, states that saw comprehensive sex and/or HIV/education and covered abstinence along with contraception and condom use tended to have the lowest teen pregnancy rates. So, of course, as parents, protecting our kids from STDs and pregnancies is priority. So, how do we start these conversations? Actually having these talks and when to have these talks. Um, Honestly, I would say start talking to your kids early. Like when your kids are getting curious and wanting to know about body parts, you definitely need to give them correct anatomy. Like, you want to give them the correct anatomical names for their body parts. So, and follow their lead. So after, don't wait until your kids are already in high school, because by that time, many kids have already experimented. And how do you have these talks? First of all, we want to make sure that we're not coming off judgmental. We don't want to hurt our kids and make them think that anything that has to do with sex is bad or something that you should be shunned for. And most of all, don't seem antsy or anxious or like you're discomfortable, uncomfortable, when you guys are having these talks, because of, again, we want them to be open and honest, and we want to know these things, and we want to help, and we want them to be educated. So, with the studies that I've placed before you, it's clear that discussions about the birds and the bees can absolutely be effective. As parents, it's our job to start these conversations and to keep the line of communication open and honest. We've discussed why these talks are important, how these talks are affecting our youth, as well as how to have these talks. So, with the hopes of alleviating some pressure on parents and guardians, and being absolutely clear about the importance of sexual education, I hope that my message has gotten through strong to you all, parents, and for the kids. Thank you.